on all platforms, but he's going to join on Instagram, and then he's going to join on YouTube and Facebook. Y'all can watch wherever you are. Hello, Erica. If you are here, say hi. Let us know where you're coming in from. Let us know where you're watching from. And you guys watching live have the opportunity to ask questions. I'm going to be interviewing Sri tonight, a little bit different than what we've been doing the last 3 conversations that we've had, which have been much more kind of open-ended and expansive. Tonight, I'm going to actually play the role of interviewer and pick Sri's brain. And because y'all are streaming in, if you have a question that you want to ask Sri, I can totally ask on your behalf. Welcome from Oakland, from Melbourne, from LA, from New York City. We got some people in a wide variety of places. So, I've been doing the Success Sessions interviews for a year and a half, and I've probably interviewed 40 people now. Many of those interviews are online, and some of them are private still, but there will be more and more. But what's happened in the month of June is that in response to the escalating conversation about racism in the West, I really wanted to bring our conversation about spirituality and success into a more integrated frame and talk about racism at the same time as we're talking about spirituality and success, because that's what we're here for. As spiritual teachers and healers, we are here to talk about and think about and raise our consciousness about money, about system change, about oppression, all at the same time. This is our superpower. We're actually really well positioned to do this. So I asked Sri, my beautiful Black African-American husband, to join me. And so this is the 4th conversation that he and I have had. And starting on Friday, we will have our 5th conversation. Starting Friday, we're going to start bringing in other guests. Welcome, Johan. Funny that you're here. You're on my short list of people to reach out to, because I want to bring a lot of voices of color into this conversation around success, race, and spirituality. So we're going to start that frame with Sri tonight. And we expect it to be messy. We expect it to be a little edgy. We expect it to touch some uncomfortable places. We expect to inadvertently offend someone, just because these topics seem to do that. And we're trusting in our love for each other and our love for you and our love for God to guide us and take us to the edge that's going to be of highest service to everyone. So once again, if you have questions for us and or Sri, you can put them in the chat and I will incorporate them into this interview. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Just ready yourself for complete life transformation. You're going to get so inspired. Hello, Srikala, joining us any moment. Super, super excited about this. Hello. Going live with Srikala now. Please let us know as we begin this. Hello, Sri. Tell us how the connection is. Can you see us clearly? Can you hear us clearly? Sri, I don't see you on StreamYard at all yet.
There we are.
Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. Hello, Srikala Chandradas.
Hi, Miss Jesse Johnson.
So I would love to introduce you if I can. I am really, really honored and excited to not only be having this conversation with my beautiful husband, but specifically welcoming him as an expert, as a guest in the container of the Success Sessions, This is the place where we talk about spirituality and success, spirituality and money, what these things are, how they go together. And there is no one better to participate in this conversation than Sri. And just naming that part of our inspiration right now, part of what we're doing today is also integrating the thread of racism, of race, of what it means to pursue spirituality and success as all different races, and talking about those issues as well. So Srikala, if you do not know him, is a proficient, powerful, virtuosic spiritual musician. He is a producer and a DJ and a kirtaniya, and just incredible at transmitting the highest transformational vibration through sound. So right away, please go follow him on all platforms at Srikala or Srikalagram if you're in the Instagram. He's also a tremendous healer and spiritual teacher and coach, and we collaborate more and more because he's so freaking powerful. So I'm honored to be married to him and also work together with him. And of course, today, Sri, invite you into this container. Thanks so much for being here.
It's great to be here. You know, I think our YouTube Facebook platform is having some trouble.
Huh, okay.
So I'm even curious if we need to let go of Instagram right now, because you're streaming upstairs, I'm streaming downstairs. There's a lot of streaming going on.
All right. Well, so do you want to test it out, or do you want to just make the call?
I'm going to go over real quick to see, and if anyone's looking from the outside, then just let us know.
Okay.
I think it looks all right. Let's just keep going.
Okay. Yeah. So those of you watching everywhere, let us know where you are. How are we coming through? Can you hear us loud and clear?
Yes.
Are you excited to be alive? Are you excited to be alive in this time?
Exactly.
All right, beautiful.
Yeah, you're definitely cutting out on StreamYard on my end.
It looks like we're clear though. I'm looking at it too. I see what you're saying.
I'm just going to use the audio from Instagram.
Okay. Welcome, yo, in Chicago. Oh, all right. So
it's a great time to be alive, Jesse.
It's a great time to be alive, Sri.
And life is awesome. Death is quite natural, but life is awesome. Being on this planet is a great thing.
That's right.
So I love the celebration. If you are alive right now, celebrate, because a lot of people did not make it through that transition that just happened. It's still happening. We're kind of on the down slope, you know.
That's right.
And so be grateful. Be grateful for where you're at.
Beautiful. I want to begin this interview by asking you, Sri, how you define success as a child and how you were wrong.
How did I define success as a child, and how was I wrong? You know, I don't really go too far back and to think about me as a child and what success was then, because I feel like success happens right now. And so maybe that's one of the things that I felt as a child, that I constantly always had to get over there. I always had to like achieve something. I always had to get the girl. I always had to get my parents' approval, or any of these things. I feel like exists not in the present moment. And these days, the present moment is very luxurious to me. It's a very luxurious reality, the present moment. And in the present moment, there's so many things to use. You know, there's mugs, and there's essential oils, and cards, and things to use for my own well-being and for everyone else's well-being. But if I'm in my head and I'm just like worried about yesterday, or I'm just like overly processing tomorrow, then it's really hard to use the tools that are here and now, you know? So
Yeah.
there's there's a there's a balance there, and I feel like that success that I'm experiencing now has a lot to really falling in love with where I am.
Mm.
Yeah. And from here, thinking about the future, honoring my past. Yeah.
How do you can I challenge you just a little bit in this definition?
No challenges allowed.
I love this definition, by the way. My challenge, which I'm going to claim anyway, is how do you measure success? Like, how do you measure falling in love with the present moment?
I measure success by how I feel.
Say more about that.
How I feel is the most near and dear to me. It's the quickest uh, receptors that I have. And so if I'm upset about something, if I'm sad about something, uh, my ability to really be with that and feel that all the way through to get back to what's underneath it is a great sense of where my success is. How long do I stay tripped out on fear? How long do I stay tripped out on being angry? How long do I stay tripped out on not enoughness? And seeing over the years that gap shrink, you know, like gradually, the length of time that I take to be unhappy, to be upset with what is shrinking, you know, and I'm noticing it more faster, and so I think that is my biggest gauge
Hmm.
of that success, and then it starts there, and then I use my external signals and signs, like, you know, we want to get, you know, everyone watching us on this Instagram.
Hmm.
We want the numbers to go up. We want the YouTube to go up. We want more hearts to love and to receive and give love. So that's also a sense of success, but it can't be uh, it can't hold priority over how I feel internally.
This is really powerful. I feel like this is an opportunity. There's an opportunity for you to talk a little bit more about this seeming duality. I don't know if it's actually a duality, but it sounds to me like you are talking about an inner measurement tool that comes first and an external measurement tool that's also of interest to you, but that you're not using to distract you
Mm.
from the inner measurement. So, and this reminds me of Gary Vee, right? Like Gary Vee, you and I listen to Gary Vee all the time. Gary Vee is constantly talking about how you
Love
shouldn't
Gary
be
Vee.
paying attention to the numbers.
Yeah.
And yet you're right. We want to serve more people, we want to help more people, we want more people watching. So how talk a little bit more about that, because I think this is an area where you're incredibly masterful. I want people to hear from you on this subject.
Well, I think that you know, when it comes to success and ego and this world, I think this world, it's quite possible to go at it measuring yourself and comparing yourself.
Mm.
And I think a lot of what we see in media and advertisements and billboards, we see a beautiful, gorgeous man or woman on a billboard, and you know, there's a lot of comparing that we do.
Mm.
That, oh, this must mean because this is on a billboard and everyone's seeing it, therefore this must mean success. This must mean completion. This must mean happiness.
Mm.
And
Mm.
it's almost part of the journey, part of the game of life, to get caught up in that, in those twines, to then just gradually come to the space of freedom around it.
Mm.
And I think that this is a natural place for everyone, you know, to experience the suffering from being separated from the truth of your right now royalty, of your right now epicness. Um, and so
Hmm.
it's really it's a visceral feeling because, you know, as time goes on, I see how I'm less, how my royalty and my kingliness and my self-worth feeling is less triggered by the results that I see outside of me.
That,
And that, I feel like that's really juicy to see it and feel it tangibly.
yeah. You know, as I'm listening to you, two things are coming up. One is that you haven't said the word, but I'm hearing you talk about unconditional.
Yes.
Like you're unconditionally devoted to the measurement tool that comes first, which is how you're feeling on the inside. And in
Mm-hmm.
order to do that, you kind of have to disconnect from the numbers, from the followers, from the money in the bank, from the whatever. But then your integration practice, or you're turning the volume up and actually increasing how unconditional you are, is allowing yourself to look at the numbers and play with them.
Yes.
Like, how do I turn these up? Can I turn these up and stay in my love? Can I focus on increasing the numbers, whether it's numbers in the bank or numbers of followers or numbers of people saying yes to something? Can I look at that and still maintain this complete unconditional devotion to how I'm feeling on the inside?
Yeah. And then there's another level to that.
Give it to us.
That level being, if I'm not there, if I'm not in that solid, connected, deep, explosive connection,
Mm.
can I do it anyway? Can I take
What's the
that
it?
guidance? It meaning, can I go out there and share my love anyway? Can I make the music
Mm.
anyway? Can I hop on the stage and do that show anyway? Can I do this interview anyway? Uh, and I think that that is a powerful place
Mm.
for all creators to stand, for all people that are in service to stand, that to understand what it feels like to be home internally. But if any moment you're not home and you're not feeling that complete uh, excitement, enthusiasm, bliss, can you still walk forward anyway? Can you still act anyway? Can you still join in that protest anyway? Can you still um, be a part of forward movement of well-being?
Yeah.
And so I think that that is something I learned. You know, that is like a deeper lesson that I learned comparatively to even my earlier spiritual understanding. My earlier spiritual understanding is like, don't leave the house
Mm.
if the vibe isn't right.
Uh-huh.
If the vibe's not right, don't leave the house. Meditate, meditate, and meditate, and
Yes.
connect, and until the vibe is right, and then go outside. You know,
Uh-huh.
and and now it has so much to do with, can you follow the same instruction that you've received when you were in that blissful connected space? Because when we're in that blissful connected space, when I'm in that blissful connected space, I feel like I can talk and communicate directly with my higher
Mm-hmm.
self. I can communicate directly with my guides. I can communicate directly with Krishna. I'm more open to receive guidance from my gurus
Mm-hmm.
when I'm in that open space, you know, when I'm
Mm-hmm.
in that connected space, when I'm in that space of love. And when you're in that space of love, so much information comes in there, you know. It's like if anybody's ever done a medicine journey or even dreams, a lucid dream. You know, when you take these journeys, it's so common for you to forget the information that you received when you were in them.
Mm.
So it feels like, take those deep dives so that you get all the information, so that no matter where you are, whether you are in the complete connection or where you're outside of the connection, you still know the action to take, and you still
Mm.
know, you still have something that you can do to bring you back into that space or to continue the mission that you've been asked to do. You know? This reminds me of that story of Krishna and Radha. Can I speak that
Yes,
story a little bit?
please.
There was one story where Krishna, who's known to be a form of God, Krishna, Buddha,
Mm.
Allah, etc., etc. But in this space, Krishna, he was having a headache one day, massive headache, wow, 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 thumping, thumping, and he's surrounded by the gopis. The gopis are advanced beings, highly elevated souls that have gotten the chance to serve the omnipresent, all that is, very directly.
Mm.
Like wash his feet. And like imagine the person that created all of this there standing right in front of you, and you get to feed him dinner, you get to wash his feet, you get to rub his
Mm.
head, put sandalwood paste on his head. So the gopis were putting sandalwood paste on his head, and it wasn't working. They were like, your head, you're just your head is on fire right now. And Krishna was just like, the only thing that will suffice right now is if you go to Yamaraj. If you go to Yamaraj, go all the way to Yamaraj, and Yamaraj is the god of hell. He
Mm.
holds the front gates of hell,
Mm.
and he organizes it all. He makes sure everyone gets the right treatment and the right punishment that they need to get, so that they can empty out that karma, and go back and continue on. Yeah. And so Yamaraj has this special herb that will heal my headache. Krishna says. And the gopis are like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. I mean, should I? You know what? This is Krishna. I'll do
Mm.
anything for Krishna. I'll go
Mm.
to hell and experience hell for Krishna.
Mm.
So that's a very powerful story, because the gopis go to
Mm.
hell, and they don't really care if they suffer or not, if
Mm.
they're burnt or not.
Mm.
I'm going there because I've been directly guided and instructed by Krishna.
Mm.
And so I think that that's a powerful feature, that a lot of times when we get this guidance of what to do, when we get this guidance of how we can do the greatest service ever.
Mm.
For example, the greatest service ever is pacifying the divine. Is serving
Mm.
Krishna's feet. And Krishna himself is like, hey, go to the most lowest place, and there you'll find what can help me. And so I feel like that's connected in the sense of, when you get the guidance, when you're connected and you get the guidance, no matter if it feels good or if it feels terrible, or if you're suffering, or if you're, no matter where you go, can you still do that service?
Mm.
Can you still make it happen? Can you still love? Can you still conjure up that feeling of love, no matter what? So I think that that's a powerful space to be in.
I mean, the whole time you're telling that story, I just am thinking about what's happening in the world today, which in a way has been happening in the world. It's not really different today, but my awareness of it, and I feel like the collective awareness of it is heightened. Can you speak about that? Like the story that you just are you making that connection also, or is that just me?
There's a connection there. I
Can
mean,
you
these things play out. You
talk
know,
more about that? There's this collective suffering that's happening as a result of systemic racism. How are you seeing it? How are you looking at it? How are you experiencing it right now?
well, just like it's twofold in the story of the gopis and Krishna. It's twofold in our journeys as individual spirits and bodies walking on the planet,
Mm.
that I'm experiencing anger, I'm experiencing sadness, I'm experiencing sometimes just waves of it, like with no cause or
Mm.
no like inspiration. Like I'll be watching something, and then something that's not even about Black Lives Matter, but somehow it just keeps connecting back, waves of sadness, like, just dumps in, So that experience is here, and then at the same time, this is one of the greatest experiences that I've ever had in my entire life. And I'm like, hey guys, do you see this? Do you beautiful people of the world, do you understand that a big chunk of shame is being taken out of the earth, is being taken out of the planet right now. A big wad of it, like more than has been taken out in centuries,
Powerful.
is now being lifted out of the planet. And so I see that, and I'm clear the blessing that is in experiencing a type of hell, experiencing a type of discomfort, experiencing a type of pain or sadness. That in that pain or sadness, I get to experience that, and that pain and sadness allows me to speak towards the healing, because if I'm not really getting to feel it myself, if I'm not, like I saw these posts going up of George Floyd, and I didn't really see the video until almost a week later. I just saw videos of the cop with his knee on his neck, just simple videos, just like small clips, like 10-second, 30-second, and I didn't even know if I wanted to get into it. I was like, here we go, here we go. I don't even know if I want to get into it, and it wasn't until I watched the full video that I was just like, how, now I see why there's so many posts going up. Now I understand why people are angry. Now I see why the noise is being made. To really witness it and actually experience the sadness and pain and suffering in my own heart. That gave me the access point. And a lot of times when I experience some of the greatest sufferings that I've ever experienced, it was revealed to me either right then in that moment or not too far after, that it was basically so I could relate to the rest of the world. And not being my own bubble of reality, but join in to what's happening, and I think that's what's happening on the earth right now. It's just like, are you feeling it? Are you feeling it? Because it's happening. People are hurting, and if you feel it enough, you'll know to say that this, like, people looting and rioting isn't just a conspiracy. There's not just people putting a pile of bricks on the street. Like, maybe that's happening, but it's not just that. It's not someone inciting. It's not a conspiracy theory. There's frustration happening. There's anger happening. There's people that have been inside for weeks, for months, that haven't been able to go out and make money and create and eat and have food. I've seen videos of people that were leaving their house with their whole family to go to a shelter within this time. And so a lot of pain and suffering is being kicked up.
Yes.
Can you feel it?
It's interesting to hear you speak about it and even see some of the questions that are coming through for you. I really relate to what you're describing, that there's, on a personal level, there's something for me. I think there's something for you and me together that is changing right now. That, like, up until now, we have been either slightly or a lot more removed from the mainstream conversation, the mainstream drama. And that in my mind, the reason for that is like to fortify our internal experience and give our service where it's most needed. It's like it's not always been, I don't think, in alignment for us to focus on the dramas of the world and get all wrapped up in the in the negativity that goes along with that. But there's something about what's happening now that is calling you and I to get much more involved than we've ever been, in my experience. Do you agree with
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I feel like it's an increase.
Tell,
I feel
like,
like it's
what has, why is that? Why did, in your experience, why did you not, like, why did you not want to watch the George Floyd video initially? Why did you not want to
well,
get involved? And then what changed?
well. I think it's because one reason is because it's not a new thing. We've been doing is to bring more awareness of the truth of who we are, the truth of who everyone is as royalty on
Mm-hmm.
this planet, as capable. And so, there's part of it that this is just a quickening. This is just a speeding up. I have been making posts about this. Any Black solidarity posts that I've been making, I have been making these posts, and I have been asking the questions, and I have been starting this because it's something that I felt in my own self. With the journey of my music and how I'm moving into Afrobeat and how that connection has already
Mm.
been starting, and me going to festivals and seeing when I go to certain festivals how I'm the only Black person there. It's been sticking out more and more over the last few years, over the last like 3 years or so. Not even that long, like 3 to 5 years. It's been like, wham wham. Do you see this disconnection?
Mm.
Do you see the even just the opportunity for more maturity? That you can participate in. Like, ooh, there's a whole area over there that I can participate in, and so this has always been there, you know,
Mm.
and in a way, also because I've just studied so much scripture, and I've studied so much ancient text. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, these texts that are 5,000 years old, and they've always been saying what happens when the ego takes over.
Mm.
What happens when we are disconnected from our true nature, from the divine, from Krishna, from
Mm.
all it is, from our infinite potential. When we're disconnected from that potential, here's what happens. And there's like stories upon stories. As you know, the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is 12 massive books of stories of people experiencing what it means to be disconnected from yourself, to be connected from yourself, to be in a group of connection, to be in a group of disconnection. And it's all these
Mm.
different stories of how that plays out. And so, in a way, my heart was already primed. My heart was already like, we're already on the urgent stream. Our urgency is here,
Mm.
and there's so much more space for urgency. So that's what this
Mm.
pandemic has been saying.
Mm.
That's what Black Lives Matter has been saying. That you guys, everyone on an individual level has way more space to get a little bit more urgent about waking up, about loving one another, about taking all that spiritual vibration that we all have and we all even claim to have, and focusing it on a an area that has been overlooked.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this area's been over. There's weeds over here in this garden. There's all
Mm.
kinds of weird bugs that are eating all of our like all of our fruits and plants.
Mm. Mm.
Shall we go over to this garden and clean up a little bit? Because we have
Mm.
the capacity. We've studied it. We've done our
Mm.
meditations. We can say like our meditations and our yoga and all this stuff is like our our gardening skills. We've
Mm-hmm.
learned how to take a plow and plow the earth to put the seeds in it. We know how to do it. Why not take it over to this land
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and garden it and plant the seeds and water it?
Mm.
And so there's added urgency to it. I feel an added urgency. And at the same time, I feel so much extra love, which feels so good. I'm like, oh, this should be happening all the time. I want this kind of attention
Mm.
and love all the time. There's all kinds of people messaging me like, hey, can you do this interview, or can you, or just reposting my stuff, or like, or tagging, or like grabbing images and videos of me and posting on their feed. And I think that it's interesting because it feels like it's not just it's not just something for me to witness, it's something for me to pay attention to and act on. Like, oh, I want
Mm-hmm.
your love, give it to me. I want it. I want your exclusive love. Can you meet me in that place of exclusive love? And are you aware of the power of my love? And are you aware of the power of your love when it reaches me? And can we meet at that place?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because the more eyes that I get, the more love that I get, the more I'm able to share the love that I'm bringing out into the world. So I think that there's some points there.
Super good. I mean, I love that you brought this in. One of the most powerful things that I've heard in the last week has come from you talking about. I think it was in my mind. I'm associating it to Black Lives Matter as opposed to All Lives Matter, and this conversation about that. That's like, yeah, of course, all lives matter. We're no one's fighting against that. No, that's not really on the table. But that there's something about what you're describing right now, that Black Lives Matter is invoking, inviting, asking, demanding, claiming. Like, yes, all people are amazing. All of us are one. Souls are unconditionally connected. And also love me. Recognize that
Yes.
my life matters.
Mm-hmm.
When you spoke about that the first time, I just was super moved.
Mm. Yeah, that was a good download.
Yeah, it was really good. So can you just do a little more exposition on exclusive love in the context of dismantling systemic racism?
Well, the number one thing is that we need to get more. We need to be more willing to be messy
Hmm.
in sharing how we feel and sharing what we think about the issues that are happening right now. You know, and what's been happening over the last couple hundreds of years is both sides haven't been speaking up
Hmm.
to the degree that we can. There has been some conversations, there has been some movements, there have been some civil rights movements that have been happening for the black culture. So yes, that has been happening, and at the same time, there's more opportunity for the world to see what's happening and have the conversation around it. And especially in an underserved community, it's just harder to communicate.
Hmm.
I know what that feels like to feel lack, to feel not whole, not complete, and what happens in your communication when you're feeling that. When
What
you're in
happens
there,
in your
when you're in,
communication?
you don't want to share anything. You know, you don't want to speak. You don't want to let
Hmm.
anybody know what's going on. You don't want to uh,
Hmm.
uh, communicate. You don't want to tell someone that you're having a bad day. You don't want to tell someone, like in this case, you don't want to tell someone that you can't get a job. You can't get a taxi because of your skin color. You can't. And at one point, we couldn't sit in the front of the bus
Hmm.
in a regular metro bus. We couldn't stand. We couldn't be in the front of it. We had to be in the back of it. And so there's so many spaces where there's more conversation, there's more sharing, there's more getting messy to have. And in that sense, Rosa Parks got messy at that time.
Hmm.
She was like,
Hmm.
I'm gonna sit in the front. I'm gonna sit wherever I want to sit, And I'm gonna start that conversation because then does anybody notice that this doesn't make sense? And so every now and then we have someone that comes along and shifts the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have these comments like I can't breathe, or we're done dying was another
Mm-hmm.
comment that is one of the bigger quotes um, that the
Yeah, of
Black
this
Lives Matter is
movement.
using.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree with it. I understand it, and I'm like, yes, and I can breathe, and there's all this air around me, and and I'm alive. I love living. I'm gonna keep living. Life feels good. You know, uh, but there's a dynamic there that even I had to understand why I can't breathe is so important. It's a very important phrase. It's just not the end. You know, I can't breathe is the voice of those that haven't been able to speak. I can't breathe is the voice of those that are in discomfort, and that's the only thing that they can share. So those that can share I can breathe have the capacity to now say I can't breathe on behalf of those that
Mm.
can't speak, you know.
Mm.
So like, I see you can't speak over there. I see that you are suffering. I see that you're in a space of distress. Great, I'm gonna speak that distress for you. And I think that is powerful. I think that that's a powerful feature.
Mm.
But ultimately it has to come to the space where we acknowledge the royalty
Mm.
in our lineage, in our ancestry.
Mm. I just I want to open up the comment floor on all platforms. If you have a question for Shri, now is the time to put it in the chat and I will incorporate it. We're going to go for another 10, 15 minutes. Shri, I'd love to hear you speak about. Wait, say that again.
Go for it.
I want to hear you speak about money in the context of this conversation, in the context of spirituality, in the context of race, in the context of success. How does money play a part? Why is it important to talk about?
Money.
Yeah. Give us the download.
Money is important to talk about because money is an experience of freedom. Money is freedom. For you to be able to make as much money as you want, to spend as much money as you want, is an aspect of freedom.
Mm.
And it is also an aspect of the divine. You know, in the Vedic philosophy, in the science of the Vedas or Bhakti,
Mm.
the term is used Lakshmi. Money is personified
Mm.
as a goddess. So even in the Vedic tradition, we can see how much reverence is given to that
Mm-hmm.
energy of
Yeah.
money. Uh, and so it's an important feature because it means your energy is flowing. It means your root chakra is alive. It means your root chakra is thriving. You know. And
Do
so it's a
you
good way to assess that. Yeah.
what's your lens on this, like, it's a genuine question for me. I've never asked you this question before. How do you see systemic racism impacting the capacity of Black people, Indigenous people, and other people of color from accessing this freedom that you're talking about?
Well, I feel like it works both ways. Uh,
And like, actually, maybe it's
the
relevant
oppressed and the
also for
oppressor.
you to talk about your experience.
Yes, yes.
Has being Black affected your ability to make money?
I'd say so. I'd say so.
How
I mean,
so?
I feel like I feel like there's so much work that I've done to get free of that being a limitation in my own being and how I show up at a meeting. I'm not thinking like I'm a black person and or all the people at the meeting are white, so therefore uh, I'm getting thrown off, internally. Um, and so there's that side, and I feel like there's the side also of how things are just set up in the world right now. It's just it feels like it's set up in the world in a way where like for example, I feel like certain festivals have systemic racism built in, and they don't even know it. You know, and I've experienced going to such festivals and being at the festival and being like just feeling awkward, you know, not feeling like I'm being squashed or like I'm on the bill, so like I'm gonna play, but just to be at the festival feels uncomfortable, you know, because I'm like one of the 10 black persons out of a couple thousand,
Hundreds. Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah. Yeah.
and it's just awkward. I feel it on my skin, you know, and there's so much space in me to understand that I am the soul. I'm not this body. I am the soul. Every person that I purvey is also connected to that reality, that same reality, that we're all spirit souls in a body. And so I'm understanding that and existing in that, and at the same time, yes, there is some shame that's being washed out of my system as it's being washed out of the entire world system, around how comfortable I am in an atmosphere that's predominantly white, you know. And so, yeah, I think it's twofold in my experience: the how much I'm able to release my own uh, lack and smallness, and how much the establishment is able to release their fear around something different coming in. And so it seems to work hand in hand in that way.
Yes. Yeah. I feel so affected as I listen to you for many reasons. One of them is because the challenges that you are articulating are simultaneously unique to those who experience oppression, and in a way they are also universal. All people experience fear of change. All people experience limited beliefs about what they're
Yep.
capable of. All people experience shame and judgment and know what it's like to have that shame and judgment keep them small and stuck. And so, as we look at the truth, and actually, that's the other thing, look, our willingness to look at the truth determines our capacity to grow.
Yeah.
So there is no more on brand subject. There is no more relevant subject to our work as spiritual teachers, as transformational guides, as money coaches, as spiritual and creativity coaches than this subject of racism, not as a distraction, but as really a way of focusing our attention on like, yeah, how can we use this to look more closely at the truth of how we're showing up? How can we use this to get more free for ourselves and then facilitate and really devote our lives to the liberation of others? It is a spiritual conversation. The more I hear you talk about it, the clearer I am that that's the truth. It's non-different. The racism conversation is the spiritual conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And not to then ignore, like, oh, well, let's all talk. Like, no, we're going to talk about racism. Let's use the racism conversation to get more free. Let's use the racism conversation to get more conscious. Let's use the racism conversation to get to turn up the volume on our service, on our contribution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ed, our beloved Ed, is asking for you, Sri, to talk about the sustainability of this current movement and what will continue to keep people's attention long enough to make meaningful change.
I think, Ed, your own decision and determination to keep this on the forefront. Each person has to see or come to the conclusion of what happens when we don't have the conversation, when we don't speak up, when we don't say anything. Then we don't get to see, we don't see when uh, a certain system is broken or a training in the police department hasn't happened. We don't we don't see it because no one is having the conversation. No one is taking it to the edge, of give me racial equality now. And I think everyone is starting to wake up to the reality, like, oh, we can have it. We can have it now. We don't need to wait for any government. We don't need to wait for any anyone else outside of us to step forward on an individual level and come together with our communities to take it off the table. And I think that there's been a lot of waiting. There's been a lot of putting our powers into other people's hands to take care of it. Oh, you just take care of it. Or this area of the government will take care of it, or this Black Lives Movement will take care of it. And everyone is starting to realize, like, oh, we are all a part of this. And to the degree of saying this risky thing that I feel is so risky, I never want to say it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. That so many people are waking up to the even microscopic amount of racism that exists inside of their bones, that hasn't been cleansed yet. That's just been there, passed down through generations, and people are getting to see it now. And now it's like we're all being asked to not only notice that, but to clean it out of your own self, to have conversations around it, and then see where it's happening in the world. I feel like
this is the
yeah.
I'm just going to jump in there. This is the we've talked about this. I've been studying how to dismantle systemic oppression for 20 years with limited results, I'll be honest. But studying it, interested in it, learning about it. In the last week is the first time that I've really understood the concept of anti-racism, and that the definition, the heart of anti-racism is about confession, acknowledging where we are racist, all of us. That's the definition of anti-racist, is the willingness to be like, here's why I'm racist. And it's not to kind of understand that it's not a black and white identification, that we all have moments of thinking, believing, acting racist, Black people included, and that it is our capacity, our willingness to look at that and confess it,
Yeah.
that shifts the conversation from one of unconscious racism to conscious anti-racism.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's powerful.
Yeah. And each person speaking up and having that conversation and looking at that allows everyone else to look at it. It kind of like it creates a vibration that other people, it's contagious. Other people will follow along, or people that are in underserved communities will then begin to speak up more because you're doing that work, on yourself, and seeing it, having the conversation, and not waiting till you go to like to an ecstatic dance, or to any of these communities, and you see an imbalance of the numbers, you start the conversation. Like, why is that? You know, is there anything in place to make it feel more comfortable for Black people to show up here? And I'm not saying this
Yeah.
specifically about ecstatic dance, because they're doing a lot of good
They're
work.
having the conversation.
Yeah, they're having the conversations. They're doing a lot of good work with varieties, especially in LA. But if I go to other cities and other states, like if I go to other countries, you know, it's a good.
That's right.
It's you know, there's a lot of other ecstatic dance. It's just white people, just
Yep.
white, pale faced folks
Yep.
that are having a great time. And I've DJ'd at a lot of these events, and it's just to have the conversation and notice it and say, "Oh, I wonder why that is, and what I can do to raise the
Yeah.
voices, like amplify the voices here, you know."
Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to get on a little podium just for a moment and just say that again, as I hear you talk about it more and more, Sri, I'm just so clear that this is not a side issue. There is no business, there is no person that this is not relevant for. This subject is relevant for all of us, and we can all use it to get free. We can all use it to go deeper. We can all use it to increase, amplify our service in the world.
Yeah.
So just really encouraging everyone to Ed's point, to just ask yourself, what does it look like for you to sustain the conversation in your own life? What does that look like for you to maintain the awareness of race as a tool for going deeper, serving freedom, serving liberation?
Yeah.
Sri, before we close today, will you just tell us, like, where can we find you and how can we help you?
I want to share one small thing for the last one. Do we have time for that still?
I'm mindful of Instagram shutting us off, but otherwise,
Okay.
yes, of course.
Something dropped in around legacy. Like legacy being that thing that you're doing now that's gonna last for hundreds of thousands of years, you know. And you know, we all have something that we can do right now that, you know, we can get it done and it's helpful. And there's something that we can all do that will last thousands of years, you know. And I think that that's an important feature. Like, Ed, what's your legacy right now? What are you doing right now that is going to last for lifetimes? And can you see how Black lives connect to that?
Yes.
And I think that's pretty huge. Like for me, it's like putting out as much music as possible, because that music will outlive me.
Yes.
You know. And so
Yes.
everyone has something that they can do where they can put something in place that will outlive them. And I think that is a massive piece to collide this cause with your legacy. Yeah.
Well, so speaking of that, I'm gonna make a call to action that everyone that's here, that's watching, listening, that you immediately follow Srikala, go to Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, wherever it is that you listen to music, and listen to his music. He's got a tremendous legacy already building there. And share his music. Introduce other people to his music. Like put an amplification system that you have access to on Srikala for 5 minutes. Doesn't have to take long. And then let yourself receive his transmission. Right? This is not just a self-sacrificing call to action. This is in service to you. Sri has medicine for you. Sri, is there anything else that we can do to help in the last 15 seconds of Instagram?
Srikala.com.
Yeah.
Go there, follow me, share, love. I said that really quick for Instagram.
We'll keep going here on the other
And I'll keep
platforms just for
going
a
for the
couple
other
of minutes.
So already here. Already
yes.
here now. Already here, remixes just released. There's going to be more and more music coming out. You can go to Srikala.com, sign my email list, follow me on Instagram. When I make a post, share it. You know, hit that button so that it's shared into your Insta stories. These are all ways that you can amplify my voice. And I think amplifying my voice will allow for more eyes to come,
That's right.
will allow for more money to come in, will allow for more hearts to be reached.
Let's give Shri some exclusive love.
Exclusive love is what I want from you.
And Shri, I just want to call out like I think it's really important and powerful that you are willing to ask, that you're willing to step up and say out loud, do this. Do this for me. Do this for you. Do this for the world. This is what I'm asking for. This is what I want. It's super, super, super. I just feel the revolutionary nature of what you're doing. I'm really excited about that. Shri, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
I can
good.
hear you. You said
Good.
that I'm willing to step up and share. I also turned the Wi-Fi off of my phone, just to let you know.
Okay.
You can do that
I'll
too.
do that too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was just shouting you out for being willing to ask so directly for that exclusive love. I think that that's really powerful. It's a good model for people to see you doing that.
Yeah, yeah. It's the vibe that I will hold you. I will hold you. If you come with your love, you will experience a massive love coming back at you in return. And that is the number one focus in my heart is to create, is to experience these relationships with you, so that we can build and expand the experience of this evolution that's happening on the planet. And it looks like things have paused again.
I got you.
And this is also part of the maturity that's happening on the planet for each individual to ask for your love. You know, like I'm asking for your love and attention. I think that that's vulnerable in itself to do for a lot of
Yes.
people.
Yes.
What to speak of someone in an underserved community, you know?
Yes.
But for a lot of
Yes.
people, it's hard to say, "Hey, I want your love. Can you give it to me?" You know.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is a practice in itself,
Absolutely.
and that's
That,
what everything is calling for us to do, to speed up that process. You know.
oh,
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Srikala, thank you so much for being here with me, with us. I love you. I'm so, so honored and grateful to have you in my life, to get to spend so much time with you. And I feel like because you are such a brilliant musician, I don't have to share you completely because your transmission is so strong there that you're able to love the world the way that you love me. And there is literally nothing more healing, nothing more potent, nothing more powerful that I could wish for anyone than to be the recipient of your love. Thank you.
Yes. You're welcome, and the shelter that I am for you, you are for me,
Mm-hmm.
and everything that you have done in your life, and everything that you have done for your own spirituality, for your money making, for your mindset, has just been such a safe haven for me to fully express who I am and for me to fully come forward and who I am. So I am in absolute gratitude to see you, not only to have you in my life, but to see you constantly and continuously crushing it in the world and bringing forth your love into the world. So I am massively grateful.
Such a good fit. So, thank you all for being live with us. Thank you all for watching this interview. Please let us know in the comments what you are getting from this conversation. Any questions that you have. Shri and I are reading all the comments in all these videos. So anything that comes up, we're here to support. And please tune in with us again. We'll be back here Friday, 7:30 Pacific live. And of course, the replays are available all the time. YouTube is the easiest place to find them. They have their own playlists, race, success, and spirituality playlists. So On Friday, we're going to begin to open up these conversations with bringing in some guests to expand on the subject. So get ready for some more really powerful transmissions. I'm super excited about who we're bringing in. I'm going to keep it secret for now, but just prepare yourselves. It's going to be amazing. Sri, thank you so much.
Thought I told you that we won't
Everyone
stop.
here live, thank you so much.
Blessings, blessings, blessings.
Blessings, blessings, blessings.